All right, welcome back. 10-second cartooning. So I'm gonna go through this book a bit more. This is a section. Again, the book is called "How to Draw Knights and Castles," and man, I'm on the castle part of it, and I wanted to go over some of this here. This is it's kind of aimed for kids, this book, but that's okay because I kind of like that because it breaks down things easier for adults like me. So just try using different drawing papers, materials. And this goes over the materials like experimenting with charcoal, pastels, wax crayons. I'm not a fan of charcoal. Pastels, okay, a little bit. It says here, try drawing pen and ink on wet paper for a variety of results. Alright, I'm not looking for those results right now. But the different kinds of, basic stuff that most artists know intuitively. Pencil leads are grayer and soft pencil leads are blacker. Hard pencils are graded from 2.5 to 4, the hardest. Number 1 pencil is soft pencil and the number 2 is medium. I mostly stick to number 2. I'm a medium kind of guy there. And then it says lines drawn in ink cannot be erased. Keep your ink drawing sketchy and less rigid. Don't worry about mistakes, as those lines can be lost in the drawing as it develops. This is one thing I'm huge about whenever I teach or tutor drawing. I always say keep it light, keep it sketchy, and people seem to have a hard time with that. That's why in my course, my Udemy course, I have a section, a video dedicated to just lightly drawing things, keeping very little pressure on the pencil, and that's a discipline in itself. And to keep things light and sketchy, and it's kind of like you're sculpting. And once you put down that hard line, that's like the final. That's the final say on that shape. All right, so get rid of that here. Charcoal is very soft and can be used for big, bold drawings. Ask an adult. Yeah, see, let's ask an adult to spray. Charcoal drawing fixative. Yeah, I like the look of that, though. That's cool. So that works well. And they go into silhouettes here. I'll skip the silhouettes. Silhouette is a style of drawing that uses only solid black shapes. I've been using this more and more in my comics. Actually, in Rage number 5, I've got a couple silhouetted shots. I've got one I've done and then one in mind. The artist Frank Miller uses a lot of silhouette shots when you just kind of want to do something from a distance, kind of a colder, non-judgmental look at things. You do a silhouette, you know. You don't want the personality necessarily of the face to be in it in any way. You just kind of want a pulled back look at what's happening. Let's see here. And then it goes over studies from life and using this grid, and then blowing that grid up into a bigger piece of art, and just drawing just the parts of the painting or the drawing, I'm sorry. So you can just concentrate on drawing just those parts at a time, those squares at a time. This I haven't quite done yet. It's not really my thing. I have an artist painter buddy that likes to do this kind of style, and he does it upside down, and he'll paint the portrait square by square upside down, and it works for him. And but yeah, and it goes, this is kind of a neat little thing it says here, that a quick sketch can often be as informative as a careful drawing that has taken many hours. So that's something to remember. That's why I'm kind of like not using a ruler, or I've gotten to the point where I don't need a ruler as much for certain angles. I just read somebody's blog, a fellow comic book artist, where he says 95% or more of the time he doesn't use a ruler. Now, part of that is because he knows the basics of perspective so well, but another reason is just because it can slow you down considerably, and things can look at least just good enough just doing it sketching and knowing the basics. It says to make your drawing look three-dimensional, decide which side the light source is coming from and put in areas of shadow where the light doesn't reach. Yeah, for example, take a look at that. You know, shadow right there, light's coming from where? From this side right here. That's in my course as well, where the sunlight's coming from. Sometimes I'll draw a little sun, saying, okay, this is where the light's coming on. There's shadow, consistent shadow on the same sides. Sketch an overall tone and add surrounding textures to create interest and a sense of movement. Pay attention to the position of your drawing on the paper. This is called composition. Yes. So right here, the shape is kind of like an L. It's kind of going like this a little bit. That's the composition, real basic. That Marvel book that I've been going over in my shorts has a good segment on composition. And it's just something you have to train yourself to look for in shots. Angles, how they intersect, and how they sit in a shot or panel. That's composition. And this brings us to the assignment, Castle, Keep, and Towers. So this is kind of like the Tower of London kind of tutorial in a way. Let's see here. The keep is the central or core castle building. Towers were built at intervals along the castle walls to strengthen them and provide accommodations for castle workers or visitors. So I'm going to end the video here because I just wanted to talk about some of those concepts that the book's going over. And in my next video, I'm going to do a step-by-step of this that they have, just using my, no ruler, just using my basic fundamental understanding of perspective, and we'll go from there. But I guess the takeaway from this would be maybe practice doing something like this. It's 2-point perspective. There's the vanishing point here, vanishing point there, and just keep it light and sketchy as you just draw the basic shapes as they go to those vanishing points. And then once you're ready, commit to that final line. Don't worry about it being perfect, but sketch enough of it to where it looks pretty close to where you can believe that's a straight edge. Alright. And maybe even practice doing a silhouette or something like this would be kind of fun. You can pause this video and outline this, or outline part of it and kind of fill it in. Usually silhouettes are in smaller shots, like in comics or in the smaller shots, but sometimes it can be in medium shots as well. Again, check out Frank Miller's books, anything from Dark Knight Returns to Sin City, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, it's only 10 seconds a day.